Hi, welcome to DA Australia. Transmitters. Most people end up buying 2 or 3 transmitters or even more in their lifetime in RC modelling. Now usually when you go to your hobby shop, they'll try and sell you something that's fairly cheap and effective, but essentially you'll end up, every time you grow in modelling, you'll end up buying a different transmitter. Well, some do, some don't, but pretty much I know from the time I started with a 6-channel radio, now I've got a 14-channel radio, but in between that I've probably had about 8 different transmitters. Now, given the price of transmitters nowadays, these 3 options in front of you now are all under $500. And I've got to say, on the market today, you can get a really comprehensive radio for under 500 bucks. Now, for that kind of money, I'd consider all these radios then to be in almost entry level. It's slightly above, but all of these transmitters will carry you quite a long way into your RC modelling. Now, the ones in front of you are the new JR 8-channel, the XG8. We have the Futaba fast system and the 8FG, and the pretty popular Hitec Aurora 9. Now, all of these radios have terrific features: 8 channels, 14 channels, and 9 channels. Now, the Aurora scrapes it in because it's fairly cheap, but this is the upper end of the Hitec range. They don't do one much better than this. They don't do any better than this one. So they put their best effort into their almost an entry level radio. I mean, they do 6-channel ones, but in all honesty, if anybody's getting into gas aircraft or anything like that, 6 channels is just not enough. And for a few $100s more, you can get yourself a pretty comprehensive radio. Now, going down the line, the new offering from JR, this is a great radio. It's a terrific, well set up. It looks really neat. It's a little smaller than the 11X. It's quite compact, but the problem for JR with this model is they've broken away from Spectrum. They've gone their own route with the new DMSS system. So there's no satellites hanging off this receiver anymore. It's just a 2 antenna, very much like the Futaba and the Hitec. This part here is the telemetry system. So as you can see, it's a whole different system. The biggest problem with this one, for anyone that's a JR fan, it's not backwards compatible. So pretty much if you get this and you've got some Spectrum gear, you won't be flying your Spectrum gear. But having said that, usually when you're buying a new radio, you will have your old radio to still play with and you can still move forward. This system is starting off fresh. This is the way JR is going to be going. Pretty much from now on, you'll be looking at DMSS. And again, the sad part for them, it's not backwards compatible. I don't see it as the end of the world, but it is a bit of a disappointment for the JR fans, because pretty much now when you're going to buy a transmitter and you've got the old stuff, you're either going to make a clean cut, which gives the opportunity to these 2 players in the game to say, well, come and try ours, because you can still use your old radios. But essentially, looking at the transmitter, it's a fantastic piece of kit. It's got the dual elevator functions, it's got easy mixing, it's got standard knife edge mixing, it's got 30 model memory, it's got an LIFE transmitter battery. The whole thing is really well put together, and it has telemetry. Now, telemetry I can take or leave, doesn't bother me too much. The other thing I do like about this, which is another step forward for JR, is all the throttle trims, all the trims are now, they've gone back to digital. They've gone away with that analog slider trim. Some may like it, I personally didn't think much of it. This system works a lot better. Now, getting to the Futaba system, this 8FG is a brilliant radio. Now, out of these 3, it doesn't come with telemetry. Does that matter? Don't know. I mean, I don't use telemetry, I don't miss it. Would it make me buy a radio? Probably not. But what I do like about this system moving forward for people is it's 14 channel. It's not just an 8-channel radio, it's actually 14 channels. Now, the other thing that Futaba have on their side is S-Bus. S-Bus is a new system that's everyone's going to be sort of getting into it at some point in time. You'll have programmable receivers, and S-Bus is the next step forward for Futaba, and this is starting at the beginning of it all. This radio is going to start getting better and better and better as they start upgrading. Now, both this one and the Futaba are upgradable by an SD card. So while they have an internal memory, this one only has 20, that one has 30, they have multiple model memories, infinite, depending on the size of the SD cards you put internally. So these 2 here are fairly compatible radios. The S-Bus on this I really like. it's a step forward into the future, and with 14 channels on board, man, you're going to grow a long way with this transmitter. The thing I don't like about it, looks like a kid's toy. Next to this, it's cheap looking, but software internal, it's a great radio. It's well thought out. Pretty much the design team could take a lesson from these guys and come away quite happy. Now getting to the Hitec, this is it's pretty well designed kind of thing. It's a little old fashioned looking for me, but a lot of guys like it. There's quite a few of them out there, and the reason there's a lot of them out there, when you go to your local hobby store, a lot of the local hobby stores, when you ask them for a transmitter, pretty much they'll just show you what they've got. Not all of them have every radio available for you to have a good look over. Now, this thing has a couple of nice features like a touch screen, so forth. It has adjustable gimbals from the rear. You can go in through the ports from the back here to make the adjustments. Also, you'll notice here it has an external module with this fairly lackluster little piece of lead hanging out the back. Now, that's not the end of the world, but to me it's a little inferior and a little poorer in quality, but wouldn't stop me from buying it, to be honest. The other thing I don't like about what's internal with this one, the internal battery is only 1300 milliamp, which is quite small for a radio this size. Other thing I don't like about it, it doesn't have dedicated knife edge mixing, and it doesn't come with an SD card. Now, they say in their books that you can upgrade the software on this through the servo programmer, which is HPP22 servo programmer. Now, I haven't seen any upgrades for this radio since it's been out, so whether it can be done or not, I'm uncertain, but they say it can be, but you'll have to buy the program to go with it. With these ones, they can both be upgraded via software downloaded from the net through the SD card. So at the end of the day, which one are you going to buy? To be honest, all three of these radios, and the other one I haven't included in here is the DSX8, are all great radios, good value for money. All will give you excellent service and are all good quality. Now, looking at something going forward, like where you're going to go with your hobby, how far do you want to go, what size aircraft you want to go, and as always, we always underestimate what we're going to do. Like, to be honest, all three of these radios are brilliant. Happy to use all of them. The one that stands out for me a little bit more than the others, and for what reason, is the 8FG. I only wish the 8FG looked a little bit more like this one. 14 channels. Now, to me, the fact that this grows with you as you go through your flying for $479, whatever what they're selling this for at the moment, and it's 14 channels, and with the advent of S-Bus, it puts this radio a little bit further in front of these two. But if it's a Holden and Ford thing, if you like JR, if you like Hitec, I don't mind either way. All of these will serve you very well. This one for me stands out a little bit more. It's great for the guys that are in Halley's. The Halley guys in Futaba at the moment are all on top of the world. And with the S-Bus coming on, and the fact that this is 14 channel, as I said, sadly, it doesn't look like that one, or that one. It looks a little bit like a kid's toy, but it's a fantastic radio and has more potential than the other two. But in the end, take your pick, and you'll be happy either way.